Hi, I'm Andrew Perry. Success is all about lifestyle, and that's what we're going to be bringing you every episode. Entrepreneurs, where they began and how they got to the level of success that they are at now. And this is That Fine Life podcast. From wine country to cottage country, real estate is all about lifestyle. I'm Andrew Perry, and welcome to That Fine Life. All right, guys, welcome to the very first episode of That Fine Life podcast. And who better to be my first guest, although I wasn't his first guest
Making me blush.
on his second season.
You were the first guest on my first
Sam
podcast.
Miele from Vision Luxx, the CEO and founder of the company that we're using to do majority of our videos. Our podcast, obviously, this is his studio.
How do you like the set?
He's 14 years old, and he's that's right. No, but how old are you actually?
I turned 19.
Can you buy alcohol yet?
No.
Okay.
I turned 19 in October.
October.
So I mean, I don't drink or anything.
Yeah, you're not a big
so.
drinker anyway. So
No.
what are you gonna do?
You know, I think a glass of
Buy
wine.
magazines from the top rack. Is that what
Hey, I mean, you know what? I'm not ruling anything out, but
yeah.
a nice wine. I go to a steakhouse by myself. I'm already planning a vacation.
Yeah. Hold on. Why do you want to go to the steakhouse by yourself?
I think it's important to look at your successes and not be clouded by other people's opinions. Even like your family, it's better to just like look and sit down and just think and just appreciate. Because I remember making my I can't believe I turned 18-year-old video.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal for me. I didn't think I would be able to top this year because I thought like the amount that we were grossing, I thought the team, I didn't think we could grow as much as what we were.
Did you see that?
Yeah. But I mean, we tripled that this year. And I mean, the show has grown more than what we could have expected. So hopefully the same goes for yours. If you stay consistent.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident as well that the show's going to be a massive success.
We got Andrew to sign a big contract.
Oh, jeez. I had to look at that fine print.
Oh, yeah. He really hit me on that fine print.
So, okay, cool. But you know what? This is interesting. You said something about, going to dinner alone. One thing that I think all entrepreneurs, CEOs, I think what they battle with is that, although you have a great support system, a great team, and I know my team's invested in our success as well. At the end of the day, it still is, your entity, something that you've started. At the end of the day, the person who's on the line is you.
Well, everything goes to crap. You're going to be the one that has to deal with it.
Exactly, right? And we're the ones who put the actual investment in terms of financials and all that other stuff. So I find all entrepreneurs and CEOs kind of need that alone time. But the problem is, and what I've noticed recently, big time, and I didn't know we were going to get so vulnerable on the first episode, but what I've noticed big time is that being alone is addicting.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
The problem with being alone, and again, this is not a problem because for me, it's driving. I love to drive. I love to listen to either podcasts, audiobooks, or AM radio. Thank God they started that HD radio, so I don't have to listen.
Are you as old as like reading the newspaper in the morning too?
Yeah, right. So the reason why is because I like listening to people talk. I like listening to the ideas. But those are one of my favorite things to do is to just be alone and drive. I love going to lunch by myself too, and it just gives me that time to kind of think and breathe. But the problem is that if you do that too much, and something that I'm experiencing now is that when it comes time to communicate with your spouse, your team, friends, family, it's almost like you're not there because you're so used to talking to yourself
and thinking on your own.
Yeah.
It's right. I think that's why it's important to find your tribe and the people that you blend well with.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a family, so I can't speak on having young kids that are all below the age of 12?
They're all under 6.
Oh.
6, 2, and 1. All boys.
That would, yeah.
I know.
And so, but like being alone, you probably don't get much of that. Neither does Gabe. And so it's probably really hard.
Gabe gets 0 alone time. So
yeah, you work too much.
Yeah.
Actually, shockingly enough, you're home by like 4 or 5. You don't let me call you at like 6.
Yeah. If I see your name, I'll just be like, what?
Yeah. No, and then yesterday when I was...
Andrew, this is really important. I just needed to know what type of lights I should get for the podcast. What?
And you're at the zoo with your son?
Sons. Yeah. But no, I do try to answer my phone, just because I've at home doesn't necessarily mean I've totally blocked off work, but yeah, sorry. Continue.
I think like the interesting thing is I think we're very similar at just different age gaps in terms of like how we run our team. And there's positives and negatives to both ways. I'm more of like the flexible type. And then being alone, I try to think about how I want to run the team more so on my own, obviously asking other people's opinions. But I find like, when do you know what's best? Like, when do you make that executive decision to say, that is what I need to do?
Well,
instead of listening to other opinions.
Well, you know what? You just said something interesting again, that, we're very, very similar, but just in different age groups. Now, and then you said that, you're flexible. So no matter what age an entrepreneur starts their venture, for me, I was 25, 26. For you, 17, 15. 12. Lemonade stands don't count. I don't care how much you listen to Gary Vee.
Plum
stands. I'm just joking. We made a lot of money for Hudson on his... Anyways, doesn't matter. Where I'm going with this is the fact that... you are flexible when you're first starting out in your business.
Very.
And then as you know what you want, your standards, your day is so scheduled, your month is so scheduled that unfortunately accepting flexibility is not always an option. So how do I, and then that leads into your question, how do you make those big decisions? Honestly, I was the guy that stood in McDonald's and was like, chicken or quarter pounder, filet o fish though, because I've got ADD and it's really difficult for me to come to a decision. But I feel, once you get to a level in your business where you have standards and that's the only thing you're accepting, it makes making a decision a lot easier. And I'll be honest though, my director of ops, Andrea, my VP of sales, Crystal, they make a lot of the important decisions for me. And, you have to put that trust in your team to make those types of decisions.
And what I will say is where we really differ is obviously you've been in the game of owning a team, being a leader way longer than I have. So I have a lot to learn in that sense. One of the areas that I struggle with a lot now is like, I want my weekends back. Mm-hmm. I just need them.
Yep.
But then saying no. And the other area is like prepping for jobs, prepping for things while staying so busy. And it feels like you're almost working and you're not making enough to support the amount of stress that you're under. Yeah. And is that sounds like it's just like a startup thing.
Well, no, it's depending on how you set up your business. So for both of us, we have clients that can be very needy. Definitely not me as a client. Clients, and when I say needy, guys, I'm not saying that we're getting harassed by our clients. I mean, although that does happen, but not a lot. However, most people, 90% of people, for our clients and most of real estate buyers and sellers, they work. So the only time you can really service them is after hours or on the weekends.
Good way of thinking about it, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where I've always been blessed that 80% of my business, mostly retirees. Niagara on the Lake, who's moving here? In the last 2 years, because of COVID, it's kind of flipped, where executives with young families from Toronto, Oakville, et cetera, are coming in. However, that's not my typical clientele.
Are you working with more younger individuals?
I was for the last 2 years, but now it's coming back again. We're switching to pre-COVID markets. So now we're dealing with our retiree clients again. So I have the ability to, work during the day, although my team works with the buyers now. However, there are instances where 90% of my business is agent-to-agent referrals. So I am making sure that I'm servicing those clients that are near and dear to my associates' hearts, and I want to personally work with them.
Right.
But where I'm going with this is that in order to take your life back, you need to find somebody who's basically, I don't want to say a clone because that's never, ever going to happen, but somebody, your number 2, number 3, that's going to be modeled off of your values and your work ethic and your dedication to the brand message.
Right. Nobody appreciates your business more than you would.
Of course.
Right?
And you can't expect people to either.
Interesting. You know, I heard an interesting quote one time on my podcast when somebody had mentioned, stop looking for another you because another you wouldn't work for you.
Right.
And I never thought about it that way because they're right. I wouldn't work for myself. And I mean, we have conversations with the team all the time, how I'm just so jumpy. I'm all over the place. I say things like, where's this? Oh, did we end up doing this? And it's like, I repeat myself 3 times. So we just hired an assistant. So we're hoping that eases in. Talk about that a little bit because you modeled that right early on.
I did, but like I said, Andrea will tell you that, you know, I don't think I micromanage, and I certainly try not to. But again, it's one of those things where, did I ask you to do that already? Did you already do this for me? Did I already do this for you? Oh, shoot. I didn't know that this particular meeting was supposed to be run this way. And the reason why I jumped into a director of ops and a director of sales and hiring them fairly quickly, from what majority of the real estate coaches will tell you, but which I've learned to, you know, not every piece of advice you get from a coach or a professional is going to be right for your business. Just remember that.
That's very true, yeah.
So I'm just, you know, so used to making those types of decisions and understanding where because my mind's very disorganized, ADD, ADHD, some would say. You know, my parents put me on Ritalin when I was 9 years old, and that went from me pew, pew, pew to so they took me off that, then switched me to an even better prescription, Prozac. So Prozac, I don't even know what the hell Prozac is. I was still young, right? And it did the same thing. It messed me up. So now as an adult, I don't take anything. Like I don't smoke weed. I don't do any of that. But I've got to find a way to kind of calm my mind. And I find that hiring and leveraging good people is one way to do that. Is it perfect? No. Do I micromanage from time to time? Yes. Is it because I don't trust them? No. But it is because I will simply forget. I'll forget.
Or you'll want something done an absolute certain
Correct.
way.
So that's why when I start my mornings or my Mondays, I'll make sure that I have a to-do list that's all written out. Will I remember exactly what was on that to-do list? No. Will my team remember and be like, Andrew, you already told us. Yes, I've already done it. Yes, it's already been submitted. That person's been contacted. Yeah, my team's on the ball. But guys like you and I, CEOs like you and I, are we going to ever be able to, you know, run a perfect ship without micromanaging? Probably not, and that's just because of how we're built. We're so focused on our goal that, yeah, we can multitask pretty good. However, after a day or two, all of that information has dissipated from our brains, and when it clicks in, it's like that meme on Facebook where you see somebody like jump out of bed and they're like, where's my birth certificate?
Yeah.
Even though they're not flying anywhere, they're just like, where's my birth certificate? That's what happens to me. They're like, shoot, did I get that email
Did you get
off?
it out?
Yeah.
Wait, so do you ever feel, because I found myself feeling like we're always behind. Just like always a half a step behind.
Yeah.
I always feel like we're just, I don't know, like we're behind. We need to we need to get this done. We need to get this done. And then like I'll go over with Kevin. We manage all of our projects properly. It's just we'll go over all of it and I'll say, oh my God, okay, we only have 4. They're all written on the board. You're all getting them done today. Yeah. Why do I feel like we're behind still? Do you know what I mean?
I get that all the time. And then I'll go to Andrea and she'll be like, tap her checklist. She's like, it's on the list. Half of what you said is already done and checked off. Don't worry. And then I'm like, okay, good.
So what are some things that we can do to not get that immediate level of like surprise jump of stress when we're like, did I tell them? Because I'll have times at like 11 o'clock at night. Did we send out that footage that we were supposed to?
So here's the thing. So it's an easy answer for you. And because I've noticed it and I've witnessed it, you're too in the business. And that's the problem if you want to fix that. For me, I'm also too much involved in the day-to-day, which I shouldn't be. And you know what? It's just one of those things where I really have to let them do what they are paid to do and, love to do, than me micromanaging it.
It's interesting. It's so hard.
Honestly, the only thing that I really do micromanage more than I should is the marketing and the branding and the content, because
I feel that.
Because I don't like our business to be very in your face. Like the Fine Life method is all about, lifestyle. We attract our clients. We don't want to sell our clients. By the time our clients get to us, we want them to already be sold based on their own perceptions of what we bring. Mm-hmm. And when things are too just listed, this, that, 4 bedrooms, I don't really like that.
It seems too salesy.
It's a little too salesy. Do we have to provide the information? Of course we do. But how can we present it in such a way that the people are like, wow, this is very interesting. This is creative. I love how they did it.
It's interesting. Like once you get to that point, like what's the definition of living that fine life? Mm-hmm. Is really just taking your life back from your stress because when I was interviewing people on the street, I said, it's funny, as an entrepreneur, we fight to have a guaranteed income of some amount, and we fight to have our life back. Mm-hmm. The second we start our business, we're fighting to basically make more and spend less time doing it. And if you don't do it properly and don't take steps every day to do something to advance, you'll always be caught in that same rut, and the entrepreneur route wouldn't work.
But also that's the dream, because you're fighting for yourself.
I agree.
You're not fighting for
somebody else.
Right? So one thing that I wanted to touch on, and these are incredibly hot topics. I mean, okay, since Gary Vee came out, everybody knows that, college or university isn't necessarily for everyone. And we know that by the time they finish, people who worked on themselves, worked on their business, before the age of 23, 22, 20, by the time their peers get out of university, more than likely that younger person has probably further advanced their financial situation, their lifestyle. Especially now, you can work anywhere in the world. And I remember all my friends went to school to become teachers, and a lot of them took a year off after university just to reset their mind, travel. By the time they got back, they're like, fuck, I don't
exactly.
Feel like working. Yeah. So why not continue that? So where I'm going with this question is, how did you, a young kid, go from, going to school in high school to, I don't even know, because you're so much younger than me. I'm sure you're going to love that. I don't even know, is there still pressure to go to university?
Yeah, 100%.
In your age?
So I think coming out of it, like there's 2 worlds that I think my age group lives in. Mm-hmm. And call it the Matrix, sure. But what? In the sense that you don't know what the real world is until you know that you no longer have school.
Wow, that's true.
And I never realized that. It was so scary to me to say I'm not going to college or university. And I think that's even the reason why I signed a lease on an apartment in Hamilton, only went there under 10 times in 6 months, paid $7,000 to $8,000 in rent, didn't even live there, blew that money, but realized that my fear of not following the crowd was pushing me subconsciously to just keep doing things to follow the crowd. And when I made a conscious, I don't know why, but I was driving home one day, and one day I literally just said, I'm going to say I'm not going to school and try this.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of pressure for me, like with my dad wanting, me to take over the business as well. He didn't apply that pressure on me, but I certainly felt it. Right? Whether he applied it or not, I certainly felt it. And I wanted to go to school for finance. I think the biggest thing is kids my age, 16, 17, 18 years old, 19 years old, they don't know life without school because that's all they've grown up in. So they think school is a simple way of saying this is the real life. And I could walk into a college or university right now and probably say this is not pertinent to real life in the entrepreneurship space. Yeah. In doctor space, anything like that. People want to pull out that case all the time. Right?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, so much respect for the people in the service industry, like, police, EMS, firefighters,
I'd
doctors,
want them going to school.
Lawyers. Yeah, we want them to
if
go
you're
to
going to
school.
work on me as a dentist,
But
however,
for those entrepreneurial people out there, and again, doctors, I know a lot of doctors that are very entrepreneurial. They've started separate side businesses or YouTube channels or TikTok channels. But what I'm saying is that if you're coming at this from a financial standpoint, certain entrepreneurs, especially in my industry, can surpass what doctors make, lawyers make by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's very
Hundreds.
true.
And in the sales industry as a whole, there's so much opportunity. I thought sales was a dirty word. I thought commission was a dirty word growing up, because at my age, the pressure to go to school, again, I can't relate to you, but it was
probably way
very,
bigger.
very high. And all of my friends wanted to go to school, wanted to become a teacher. I was so pressured to do the same. In school, I would miss 20, 30 days and still walk out with a 70, 75%. And it would just, the one teacher even said, Andrew, you're better than this. I'm like, I know. No, I didn't say that.
No, but that's an attitude that I think
mean?
I struggled with throughout school. Is I think in a lot of ways I was cocky because I thought that I was better than the situation I was in.
Yep.
And, whether that was true or not, I feel like I was just like an eagle caged up, and I wanted to fly.
See, you know what? See, that's really cool too, because you knew earlier on than I did. What I thought I wanted was fame from the music industry, and that's what I was pushing for.
Should we show a clip of your...
Play that clip.
Spending it all. Now where did you go? Left me all alone, sitting by the phone, hoping you'd call.
But for me, it was just it was not necessarily like, okay, I feel like I caged animal and I want to go start a business. For me, it's like I just didn't care. I'm like, this is, for me, pointless. I loved networking and that's what I call it now. But I mean, I loved partying and having and seeing people every day. I loved that, chatting with the teachers too. I love that. But for me, I just think I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew that what was offered to me wasn't necessarily going to be what I wanted in the future.
And I think I remember sitting in math class, and I remember my teacher walking behind me while I was on my phone while we were supposed to be doing a problem, and she said, wow, that's a lot of reminders. And the reminders were me to do things when I got home for my business. And then shout out to Charles Coop, my co-op teacher from Eden, because when I got into grade 12, I wasn't going to take math.
You already checked out, yeah.
I didn't want to do English.
I stopped taking math too.
Oh, yeah. No, I do not have grade 12 math. And my dad told me to take grade 12 math. And, should I have? Maybe, because it might have saved me a lot of bookkeeping problems that I might have,
You should hire your own bookkeeper anyways.
I agree. I still keep
tip number one.
I still keep it though, because I can't relinquish control. But besides the point, I felt like I needed to just do something more than just going to fitness class and taking all these easy classes just to get through grade 12 and then go to school. It's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
And similar with you, you don't like wasting time.
Yeah.
Even when we're waiting to do something, doing the setup, you're on your phone, calling, texting clients, posting on Instagram, commenting. There's no time wasted.
Well, and
that's crucial.
I love that point, because a lot of people say, oh, I got to, take a break from social media, or, oh, I'm so stressed out, I'm so burnt out. I'm like, look, is burnout a real thing? I think so, for sure. That's why I tell my team, you need a full 24 hours off no matter what. Turn your phone off, do whatever you need to do. However, for me, I don't necessarily get burnt out, because the burning desire to succeed and sell is much more prevalent in my life than burning out or getting stressed out about working. Because for me, it's not necessarily working. Everything that I'm doing in my accessibility to my network, clients, referral agents, team, vendors like you, it's important to me. And replying quickly to things, all of those little micro things that you feel are a stress or an obligation, to me, that's a micro step to another sale or another opportunity or another another person that might say, hey, this guy's so busy, yet he's replying to me in a timely fashion. He's offering value. Hell, I feel like buying a house from him, and I'm a realtor.
Yeah, that's actually huge.
That's the value, right?
I think what's interesting, and it made me kind of think, because I'm a very visual person, is for you, like, let's say what you're doing on the daily when you're messaging this person, just responding to this story, commenting on this person's thing, liking this post, just overall like a micro step to building relationships with each person that you communicate with in a day. You're micro building that up every single day with every single touch point that you make, whether it just be liking their story, let alone. And you're doing all of these. You might have a row of thousands of bars that, and then at the top, sure, let's say it leads to a sale. Yeah. You have all of these little micro steps and it all accumulates over time.
Exactly.
That's just a very visual person, so that's kind of how I think about it.
Yep.
Thinking about it that way, it doesn't make the small things feel useless.
Exactly.
And that's what so many people think, and that's why so many people are like, how'd you get so much business so quickly?
Exactly.
I started the micro touch points early on.
And look, are there a lot of successful realtors and business owners that aren't on Facebook or social media? Absolutely. The questions that I get often is, how do you maximize? So all the advice that you'll hear me give on podcasts or when I'm speaking on stage is how to maximize it. Do you have to do this? Absolutely not. If you do this, will it lead to more sales or a higher authority? Absolutely. And so when I'm half my day is just responding to people, and I do it with a smile on my face. And, we'll be driving up to Muskoka and I'll have team members in the car and they'll see it firsthand because I have my phone connected to my car, obviously, right? Ding-a-ling. Oh, hey, Andrew, I was just wondering, who's the best lead generation company? Oh, hi, Andrew. Thanks for taking my call. I was just wondering, how do you know when it's the right time to hire an assistant? And they'll be like, are you serious? Do you get these calls all day? I'm like, yeah, I get them all day. And I talk to my clients and I say, look, if there's people looking for opportunities in your area, like on Facebook groups, like, hey, who's the best agent in Niagara, Fawn Hill, Welland, whatever, if you're not responding to them quickly, DMing them, looking them up, finding their email, finding their website, calling their brokerage, calling their cell phone. Hey, and if that referring agent says, well, hey, that's too much, man. I feel like I'm getting harassed. Well, then that type of person, I don't even want to work with you anyways. So for one, you feel I followed up with you too much to answer your question, who's the best in Niagara? And if I'm doing that for you, I'm going to be doing that for your client. And you've got a problem with that? I don't even want to work with you anyways.
Yeah,
we're too busy to take on people that are going to be acting that way.
Well, I think it's so crucial to make those touch points all the time. And in some ways, people resent that. Like, let's use you as an example. Let's say there was another you. Maybe another you might resent that people keep contacting you.
Yep.
Using people that say, oh, I don't want to be contacted or ask questions all day, every day. Certainly there's things that you can do to minimize smaller questions by, actually, shout out to Carrie Benvenuti because
she's amazing.
I don't know if I can talk about her idea on camera before we do it, but just making touch points through video or calls or whatever it may be, you can't just say no more and expect the same results. You have to put in that time of communication. It's without question.
I totally agree. Well, Sam, look, thanks for breaking the ice for the very first episode of That Fine Life podcast. It's been good.
Are you living that fine life?
Yeah. So that fine life is all about, we understand that people use a lot of their equity for retirement or for investments, and they've usually worked their entire life to build that. And so we understand that, at that transition point of your life where you're looking to either retire or get into the investment space, it's super, super important to you. So it's super important to us because we know that financial freedom is going to lead to living your best life. And that's
living
where that fine life comes from.
I love it.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
And we're out.